But before I start, I have to say thank you to Jenna for being so flexible and for inviting me to do the talk at all. And also, I'd like to thank Tiasha. She says I says her name wrong, which is so embarrassing. I call her Tisha, you see, but I think she's called Tiasha. Anyway, tea lady who has allowed me to use her beautiful art, reproduce it in the book. And this is why this second book in the Blue series is out in color, so you can enjoy her paintings. So like in the first one, there are about seven of her poems that are based on her paintings, because she's a bit of a muse for me. I also have to thank my husband for never reading my poetry. I think because that's quite helpful, because he gets very emotional when he reads it, and then I have trouble with picking him up again. But he, no matter what, he still supports me a lot, so that's very good. And last and not least, I would definitely like to thank Carmen Marcus, who is my sea sister. We share salted blood and our poetic ways, and it's been great that she, during this lockdown, decided to do online courses that I participate in. I don't know how to Sunday without her, so that's amazing. Oh, yes, so that was most of the thank yous. If you want to know what the book is about, I have to show you a thing. Oh, is it the wrong way around for you guys? It is, isn't it? Because of the video thing. But I think you can still make out, reading backwards, that what I did was I put my full manuscript up into something called Word Art or Word Cloud, and it came out with what was the most mentioned in my collection. And as you can see, it's the sea and it's love. They're the two major things. And in between that, we have things like weaving, change, breath, and time, which are the sort of what you could call life. So this is a nice collection. She says it's a super nice collection about the sea and about love, and also about swearing. It doesn't actually say swearing in here, but that's because that's something I do and not something I write necessarily. But so the main themes here are the sea, it is love, it is time, weave, change, breath, and blue. And here's the thing. Do you believe in serendipity? Just put in the chat if what you think about serendipity. Is that something you can relate to? Oh no, you don't. You don't get a word cloud with the book, but I'll print you one out when I see you. Okay, I believe in serendipity as well, and the point of having two launches was that the one that was in here in the bookshop in Land, where I'm landlocked in wonderful Yorkshire, in Ilkley, was there. I was mainly sort of talking about the sea, and then I thought, well, if I do a two-prong launch, then when I get to the sea, I can do sort of more of the inland stuff, is what I was thinking. But it didn't work. And many of you will have had to do presentations, and I certainly did in academia. And you just know if a presentation isn't working, it isn't working. So I was sat this morning during my morning meditation, and then I went back to the book, and I thought, you know what I really want is to read this particular poem, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in the list of contents. So it turns out that for some reason, nothing to do with me, a few of the poems in the collections are not actually in the list of content. So they live in the thin spaces, as Carmen would say, the thin spaces between, or thin places and spaces between the other poems. So what I've done is that I've taken 3 of them and made them the focal point of my talk. So that's the progression. It's a 3-tier presentation. It's probably going to take about an hour because I can't shut up. I will try and do it quicker, but there you are. So the 3 poems that are secret in the collection are Incoming Waves at High Tide, which is about the power of the sea and how it can heal us, but also how it both weaves us and pulls us apart and eats the land. And then it's Wednesdays with My Best Mate, which is about grief, and it's about how we deal with the pulling apart of life and illness, pain and loss. So it's pretty heavy. And I have to say that, as a fair warning, I do make fun of cancer. I don't make fun of cancer, but I do make fun of everything, because for me that's the way to survive. And the third poem that had gone AWOL is called Even the Sea Needs a Shadow, which is about letting it all out, howling to the sea and smiling to the sea, seeking the healing. So I hope that's okay with you. So we're going to do those 3 things, randomly chosen by some sort of typesetter who didn't update the list of content in Venice where it was printed, the book. Are you cool with that? Jack says yes. Okay, but before we do, I would like you to join in me for the first poem. And it's called Do This For Me, Breathe. And I can't see you, but I'm going to have to trust you. I would like you to close your eyes the best way you can, and not just close your eyes as your physical eye, but try and focus just on breathing. Breathe, prime breath. Breathe, prime breath. Count to 4 as you breathe in through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 12 glorious seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let it out slowly. Make the air work for you. Don't waste a thing. And as the hunger strikes control, you turn to work for the air. Let it go slowly, saying goodbye to a loved one in the airport slow. 8 seconds of controlled out breath. Take a deep breath in and then out on 8. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in green. Breathe out yellow. Then breathe in blue. And breathe out green. Finish with breathe in white. And breathe out indigo. If you feel you're now in a solid relationship with breath, breathe in indigo. Count slowly to 30. We're not going to do that. And then breathe out gold. And repeat. This is an exercise that if you're in a tight spot somewhere and there's no way of getting out of it, you can do this. You can breathe. All you have to do is breathe. That's all you have to do to survive. We can get to the living later. Okay. You all right? Everybody awake? Yeah? Nobody's awake. This is amazing. What have we got here? Ah, right. Okay. So the next poem I am going to read to you is this one, which is the one that got lost, the first one that got lost. So that is called Incoming Waves at High Tide. There's a different kind of time in the air. Long wintered it clocks and blocks any progress, swallowing rocks and horizons alike, wave by wave, curl by swirl, cruel caressing of those endless shores, weaving waters in thick plates, carving into the land. So that's what I'm talking about, that the sea is, and the weaving of water is both a giver and a healer and a destroyer, and the destruction is not always bad at all. So the next poem is called Seachanger, Wave Weaver, and it's the title poem from the collection. And I did the illustrations for this one. What do you think? Yeah, I know. That's Erna. Erna the flying wheel. We all need a flying wheel. Seachanger, Wave Weaver. Coming to terms with the end of things is easy and hard all at the same time. I feel naked. I think I should be. I am the North Sea woman after all. The North Sea is me, bared to the bone by brine, naked in my love. Wave swallower, gale gorger, and you, run with my salty form. Let yours loose on wind and ravaged sands. Nothing stings skin and scale the way sandstorms on frosty beaches do, ripping layers of that which no longer serves us. I am the woman weaving waves, and you, my perfect land. Coasts and crashing waves we are. So I always get a little bit emotional with that one. The end of things, we can't avoid it. I don't actually believe in death, but I do still long for the people I love to stay with me for as long as they can. But for me, the sea is the ultimate place of healing. It's different for everybody, but most people have some kind of nature or music or art that they retreat to. For me, obviously, it's the sea. And I'd like to read to you a poem from a part of the collection. There are different strands in the collection, so some of the poems are categorized as mesmerandums, which I'm told is not an English word, but it is now. And to me it means a mesmerizing memory, that you can change your memory, but there's something that has made you hang on to it for a long time. For me, when I was 16, I went on Interrail with my then boyfriend, and this is obviously very fictional in many ways, but also not very fictional. Mesmerandum, called The First Time in the South of France. And this is a flash fiction piece, so it's not a poem. It must have been a Wednesday. Mediterranean hues always shine brighter midweek. Teen in no bra on a slow train to Nice. My older boyfriend sitting across from me. To the right, at leaving Saint Raphael, the sudden onslaught of euphoric azures. All the same, but no two alike. Pulling at heartstrings so passionately, jumping off the train seemed a seriously tempting thing to do. As we pulled into the next station, sea out of sight, I could finally breathe normally again. I don't know if anybody has been on this stretch of the Côte d'Azur, but the stations are quite up. It's an absolutely beautiful ride. Do it! I could finally breathe normally again. The train boomed back into focus. I'd forgotten where I was, forgotten the use of words. Almost post-orgasmic breathless, I leant back into the soft velvet seat and looked up. There was a long mirror, the full length of the carriage stretching under the hat shelf, and in it I saw a young lad. No more than 14, I'd say, touching himself while looking at my nipples through the cotton top. When I caught his eye, he didn't blink, and I didn't cover up. Mid-80s, live and let live. For those of you who are old like me, you will know that there was a different, attitude to a lot of things in the 80s. This is on the quiet side of things, I would say. So I hope that you liked that. And then I get to be a little bit older, and I'm still all absorbed about the sea. It was actually so bad that after that experience, I was planning how to break up with my poor boyfriend because he couldn't relate to the sea like I could. So that's a big thing for a 16-year-old. And this poem is called Tracing. Tracing the sandy patterns on the bottom of the clear sea with my eyes, diving at sun-kissed angles to them so that I can run the length of the ripples with my fingers, holding breaths for longer than should be possible. I spent most of my time underwater. Growing up, this is where I go to heal, to learn to cope with being an adult, doing adult things. On days, weeks, months where I cannot do my tracing, I do them anyways while the world thinks I'm working, or driving, or cooking, or sleeping. I reach into the sea by the movement of my hand, woman weaving waters, in a blink of an eye, running the rivulets in the deep of my pocket, on my steering wheel, with the spoon in the consomme I'm clarifying, sacred flow of deep currents on soft golden sands, not a single second away. My fins are all joyful, and my heart is restoring. Even though I can't go to the sea. So I had a whole year where I couldn't go to the sea because of this COVID business. That was hard. I'm telling you, that was all kinds of hard. But by doing this thing, tracing, it really helped, because daughter of the sea I am. Daughter of the sea I am. I am the daughter of the sea. Blood salty tears too. I gaze, I graze the offing, brushed with the colours of creation. No man can touch me here. no touch as cut as salt. The wave who roils up to me at night, moonlight swims together, the purest adultery, that of salt, lingering on skin after full immersion, sticky, lickety belly button, hunter's moon reaching blush tongue to satisfy. Lover of the moon I am a lover of the moon. I don't know how you feel about the moon over sea. I know that people that live here in the Dales, they sort of, the moon rise over the moor was amazing. And I think it depends where you grew up, obviously, but for me there's something special about the moon. It doesn't have to be a full moon. Any kind of moon over water is just incredible. So yeah. So the last one in this section I'm going to read to you is called Seachanger Blues, which explains what the problem is for me as a person. Anybody who wants to give advice, just do it. It is also a mesmerandum. Seachanger Blues. For sinking long days and months I have not seen a wave, touched a curl, felt the toe of tides under sand, sinking my feet closer to core. So long the calling of seagulls circling my house in the hills has been all I had to remind me, screeching their tails, tall and true, of East Coast shores boasting North Sea love, bursting with seal barks, porpoise meditations, the glory pride of puffins. Blackadder at my feet cries, "Unfair!" My sin is not apple bites but longing. Ungrateful, says the serpent. These dales have welcomed you as their beloved child, provided bilberry joy, green waves to surf from valley side to dale top, purple heathers, blue shadows, crimson moons. Are those not enough for you? He slithers up, golden chestnut, and sings. Ungrateful you, come crawl the crown of this king, and I will free you, fool. He might be right. I might be wrong. Yet every cell pulls me out, not up. Would I climb the tree had it been by the sea? Almost certainly. Would my fall have been broken softly or sandy? My falls are never broken. I fall all the time, free fall, chasing the offing, drawn to the fret, undersea breaths. For endless minutes I have not laid my eyes on darkened waters, not counted currents under water, not seen my toes turn blue from wintry kisses, not smelled the fermenting of seaweed or the sulphuring of salt, not hidden in the lee of sea fog. But I'm still here. I could have moved my weary legs, my bed, my desk, my worldly possessions, but I haven't. I do love these green valleys, the purple and the orange moors, the cuckoo calling come spring. No need for seduction. My eyes are not blind. They are homesick, that is all. Not used to the freshness, the clean air, salt-free, nose intact. My feet are happy to clamber stiles, walk miles, follow cow-padded trails. Hands are happy to pick berries, as I do. Blue teeth from eating the land. But it does not change a thing. These cells were meant for saline swims and walks on ocean floors. That's a bit of a mouthful. I wish I could see you. You might just hate everything. Hate the sea. If you hate the sea, lock off. Don't say anything. But yeah, that is my problem. So I would like you, before I go into the next section, to do a little exercise with me. I'm going to read you this poem from, it's a Seachanger, poem, and it's called Sacred Places, or the sacred place. And I would like you to think about a place that is so special to you that you can close your eyes and immediately go back to that. Somewhere you know, somewhere that you've seen in your dreams that you keep going back to. Hope you got it. We all need one of those places. There's a subtle scent of summer on this path, etching skin closely through rosehip bushes to the stony beach below. Even when the ice is packed tightly, like Christmas presents from an aunt who still hopes to save you from sure damnation, this place is summer sacred, yet godless at the same time. Just as I am, here. Here I'm truly me, lost, found, right here, nowhere at all, it doesn't matter. The mouthfuls of summer we swallow whole. Naked swims and beers, bobbing in the water's edge to cool, too close to rocks for safety, but still safer than anywhere else. At dusk the porpoises swim close enough to kiss my face, and the fox, she sits in her foxy manner, nodding at her sea sisters like me. She left them behind. I have left so many things, people, countries, belongings. This place, though, has never left me. The grace, I do not take it for granted. So the reason why I wanted you to think about a place that you feel safe in and that you can retreat to in times of trouble is that there's an exercise that they call the inner smile, and around here I have a book which is called, I'm very organized, as you can see. It's called The Endorphin Effect. I'm sure that Jenna can get this for you. It's by William Bloom. It's a little bit hippie, but if you are mortally ill, get cancer in the families, everybody's dying, COVID pandemic, what have we? To have some practical tools to find the smiles that you have had so that you can smile again. That's what the inner smile is about. It's about tapping in to those endorphin producing smiles that you have inside, which is also why I write the way I do, on it as you know, about making the most out of a really shitty situation, to be totally honest. So buy that, buy The Endorphin Effect, also buy my book, and buy Blue Mind by Wallace J. Nichols, which is a big research project about how water, any kind of water, not just the sea, can help us heal and rejuvenate. Anyways, so the second poem that got lost is called Wednesdays with My Best Mate, and it's going to be a difficult poem for me to read, to be honest, because just today, a year ago, I lost one of my very, very best friends, and we knew it was happening, and But all the same, we have all lost during the pandemic, but the fact that we haven't been able to go to necessarily all the funerals and things, it's been super hard. But I would like to read this for you because he was the best person ever. He was 98 and I've known him for 20 years, and he acted like he was 25 and went ballroom dancing until he was 96, and he was sharp as a button. Anyways, this is called Wednesdays with My Best Mate. Just for a second, probably less, I saw him wave as I sped off. Sat in the window seat, radio on, keeping a closed eye, but not missing a beat. With ballroom dancing accuracy, he always spotted me. You were speeding. You had your eyes closed, blind man. Pit-deep laughter. I can tell from the sound of your engine. Diesel rubbish. He didn't like diesels. You're almost deaf, dude. A fountainous smile. Not to your sounds, my love. Right he was. About cars, sounds, sights, about me. True love is like that, even among friends. Neither eyes nor ears needed, voices, vibrations running on heart hums. A grave, no hindrance. I feel him holding my hand crossing the road, the blind leading the limping youth, en route to our favourite spots. We should elope, he would say. When? On the 10:53. And we did. Wednesdays mainly. All good things happen on Wednesdays, I said. All good things happen every day, he would reply. He was like that, my friend. Present. A presence. In the now. God, I miss him. He's a wonderful guy. He was so good. He lived before all this meditation hokum, and he did it every day. He just could be in the now. He was an amazing thing. Okay. Is everybody okay? Now, if I need to slow down, or if you're not okay, then okay. You have to let me go. I know there's trigger shit going on here. So in this section about the grief and the life, the living in between the sea and love, we have this ability to change. As humans, we have this ability to change our perspectives, and we have this ability to also live with coexisting and ambivalent and conflicting emotions at the same time. So we can be grieving like mad and still laugh. Have this horrible thing. Maybe it's a good job I haven't been to any of the many funerals this year, because I laugh at funerals. Everybody's logging off now. But I laugh because I only go to the funerals with people I really love, and I always remember the best things about them. So anyways, I think part of the grieving process, part of coping, is by trying to remember as much as you can and not remember it at all. Make it up. Don't try and be all true and authentic all the time. Nobody needs to see the food you're eating or what you're feeling all the time, because feelings lie. So make shit up. I'm going to read Pole Welding and Old Spice. and see how you think about this. Suddenly I can't remember if today would have been my dad's birthday or tomorrow. I can't remember if he was born in 31 or in 32, or the year we moved to that run-down house on Main Street. I do remember the sound of his keychain and the colour of his eyes and the way he tanned in a flash when he even thought of the sun. I remember his scent, steel and diesel, that burnt smell of wood and pole welding gone wrong. Old Spice and soap, the scent on his checked shirt that lingered even after a hot wash, and me stealing them to wear when I moved away from home. I remembered those things, but I do not remember if it would have been his birthday today. Yeah. He was a really funny fella. He was a funny fella, my dad. He was a welder and an inventor, and he set fire to everything. I don't know how he did it, but when he passed away and we emptied the house, we found, I think it was about 32 fire extinguishers in every room and in the car and everywhere, because that man, and he didn't do it on purpose, he wasn't a pyromaniac, it's just that he was he was big time into the pole welding and soldering and things, and then he didn't have a sense of smell, so he couldn't smell if things were sort of burning. Anyways, amazing guy, my dad. Which is why I think that we should have another little mesmerandum. Yeah, you're right, Marie. I actually have a whole book about my dad and things he set fire to, which is a lot of things. His own boat, his own car, his own clothes, his own house, everything, everything. Did you know that you can get fire extinguishers that are like this small? I didn't. I do now. So we should all have them. Anyways, this is mesmerandum from the 80s. Ooh, June is here. Hi, June. Canada. So she managed to get off to her lunch break. That's amazing. That's very good. I don't know if I wanted to show you a picture of me in the 80s with these massive glasses I was wearing, but I think I might have destroyed every sense of evidence on that front. Anyway, cow specs, new mega specs, these ones, arrived in post, taking me straight back to lost youth and 80s snogging spotted teens at parties I never liked to go to in the first place. Glasses always in the way. For some reason, I rarely took them off. Metal frames they were. Came with 3 colours to click on. At least 4 identities in one bill. Paid begrudgingly by my Mercedes driving dad. Not just because they were expensive, no. They were not like the old ones. Not much of a change guy, my dad. He wasn't for it. Unless he was the one making it. Navy blue Mercedes, more chrome than colour, shine as fuck. Got polished every day. Faux leather seats and matching blue, sharp white steering wheel. She was a looker. Sunny Sunday in 87. Picks me up after a night out. Me, not him. Faux leather seats are now protected by faux black and white cowhide. Extra on the fluff. Snazzy, he said, beaming. I was wearing the white glasses identity that day. She fits right in, don't you think? The dad says to the spotted Martin. Never saw that particular Martin again. It took half an hour to get his blemish concealer off the cow specs, though. That's a really nice inner smile memory, this. Ah, yeah. My dad was he was a weirdo. I couldn't find, and I don't know, my sister's not on. We couldn't find a picture of this cowhide cover for the car. It was just bloody hell. Oh man, he was something else, that's for sure. I'm going to read now. I'm going to change tack a little bit and read a poem about breast cancer and about the changing in perspectives and what can go through one's mind when you're sitting in a waiting room like that. It's called In Defense of Aquariums. There's a whole section of poems in the book that are called In Defense of. And it's called In Defense of Aquariums, Sweet Coffee, and it's got a little fish, you see, in the book. For some reason there are fish in the breast screening department. There are no windows, aircon is on max, and fish. There are fish. The nurses are nowhere to be seen, but the receptionist has kind eyes behind protective glasses, just the right size. The eyes, I mean, and the PPE specs for that matter. It is 7:30 a.m. and the first coffee of the day is still steaming in her paper cup. She looks like it's the first anyway. There's nothing like the first, is there? Coffee can do that. Make you friendly and hopeful, smiling. There's a lump in my breast, 2 actually, just like I like my coffee, ideally, sweet and tan. I don't though. I cut the sugar years ago. Right now I can't think why. It makes as much sense as these fish. I promise myself a sweet oat milk coffee when I get home. 2 lumps slowly dissolving in the hot liquid. Perhaps a hot bath would fix my lumpy breasts. Perhaps a holiday somewhere really hot. The fish look so out of place it's almost funny, but also sad. They look like they should be swimming free in warmer climates, bluer waters than northern England can provide for sure. Even in hospitals. Before I can stop it, my hand reaches out, touching the smooth surface of the aquarium to check if it's warm. As if I could magically save them if it were not. Silly. I don't know their names, but the largest of the fish tries to suck my fingers through the glass, looks at me disapprovingly as if I've intentionally disappointed him. Disappointment is always trickier than flat-out anger, I find. Before, I would have instinctively withdrawn my hand, but I am not afraid of anything anymore. No lumps, not sugar, not fish, not pain, not dying, just not. I'm not even afraid of dying in pain. It will not come to that for me. Of that I'm sure. Not because of fish, but possibly because of water. The salty stuff. So yes, maybe a little bit because of fish, then. I decide to call the sucking fish Peter. He looks like he could fly to freedom had he been given the chance. In defense of aquariums, even if I have no idea what it's doing here or whether I agree, and even if Peter looks distinctly dissatisfied with the situation, and me, to be honest, this aquarium and these fish have brightened my difficult day. Did you see what I did there? I took a really shitty day and I turned it on its head and had a conversation with a fish. I know it's a bit nuts, but it really helps. And they're benign, by the way. my lumps. And they didn't dissolve in the very hot bath I had that afternoon, which is a bit of a bit of a buggeroo, isn't it? But there you are. I'm aware that I'm running a little bit out of time, but I would like to, if it's okay with you, I mean, I can read you more cancer poems. I'm happy to do that. I've got a short and a longer cancer poem. This is about trying to flip a difficult situation. Could you let me know whether you would like to hear another cancer poem or whether we should move on? There's one that says yes. And a few waves. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to do the short one. I am going to do cancer. These are the best things to say. Worst things to say, I'm sure it's nothing. Or, you are a fighter. Don't say that to cancer patients. Don't say it to their wives, husbands, lovers either, unless you want the wrath of all gods upon your unwoven mouth. Sew it up, you must. Or fill it with words like, I'm thinking about you. I care. Fancy some chocolate? What can I do to help? Anytime you need, call. That is shitballs. Want us to Google foreign swear words together? I won't say who it was, but she saved my bacon that day, that's for sure. She also taught me this one. That sucks. Camel tits. Sending you love. Do you want me to call someone? Do you need a hug? Don't be all, I feel so sorry for you. If it were me, I would have broken down ages ago. If you pity us, you make us look small. If you are upset, then we have to comfort you. How is that helpful? Stick to, I love you. Bordel. Scheiße. Something in Japanese that my friend taught me. I probably shouldn't say that. Might be worse than camel tits. Verbeten. Warrior or pity languages have no business here. If we lose to cancer, it's not because we're bad fighters, but because cancer sucks. Okay? Okay. I hope that's okay. And I did actually have a little, tiny little angry face photograph. This is Angry Susie. If you go all victim on us, we don't want to be victims. It's hard enough as it is. Ooh. Okay. I know that this might be difficult for some people to hear. It's not like you can't be upset. Just choose your moments when you're around people like that. Okay. So now we go to the last section, and that was the missing poem called "Even the Sea." Are you okay with? Everybody okay? Everybody okay? Okay. So even the sea had snuck in somehow between Stingrays of the Sky, which is about crows, and If You Must Sing, which is a poem about funerals. And it is about letting it all out. Shadow whirls on my doorstep, sky howling with fleeing clouds and nose full of salty fret, I walk against the storm towards the edge of the land and into the frothing sea. Under giant curls I bay pure calls for long-lost mums. No wave will wash this kind of love away, I know. It knows it too well. Even the sea needs a shadow world to bellow to. We are one, the sea and me. Our cries come from the same places. Loss, the great unifier, swells us into primal roars, and she calls for my help as I yelp for hers. What is this world? She blusters. The breakers at breaking point. It is a shadow of itself, I answer, and caress the inside of her belly, so full of wreckage time. We are all shadows now. We are all shadows now. That is what can happen when you move too far away from what you are used to, and where the changes and the weaving of your realities becomes too painful. So I think, what do you think? Never mind me. What do you think? Can you roar at the sea? Roar at the moors? Find a place to roar? Well, let's try and tap into some childhood memories and another inner smile to offset that. So this is a poem that Jack the cat chose for me to read today. All at once. These clouds gather to please me, I am sure. T-shapes in pure pink allure, bellies ready to burst, frosty flakes in the billions. All at once I am 4 again, sat in the window waiting. Vision fading as snow was invading every crevice of my little mind. Potent anticipation brewing, innocently queuing behind eyes on thermal blazing, waiting for the first cover to settle, the first blank sheet to paint on with my sticky arms and pipe cleaner legs, angels, silent angels. Before anyone else was awake, the sea of white was mine to sail, new coasts to conquer, dunes to wander, alone and with every flake, unique to itself and to me. Coral clouds against dark morning skies, the call so faint I only me could hear, the crystal clear summoning of the small people, the ones still believing in miracles, belly full of awe so raw, just one sound remained, silence. I am old now, bones weary of the walks I've walked, the talks I've talked, the thoughts I have thought. The most beautiful sound of all for me is still the song of the soon-to-be-born snow. All at once, watching those clouds, I am 4 again, listening for the snow, eyes in pale pink clouds, feeling them brushing against the night blue sky. Silent snow, bridging time with easy truths, descending, not ending here, but mending the cracks that I have made along the way, and those given to me. In this rose diamond morning, hope of the innocent variety comes calling, and all is good, all at once. And we had snow last week, didn't we? That was wonderful. I do love snow. I love it so much. I don't like English people driving in the snow. That shit is scary. Not only do they drive on the wrong side of the road, but they also insist on winter tires not being necessary until they all end up in the ditch somewhere. It's just really, I'm not a fan. I think I'm gonna go back to cows, as you do. Unless you want, do you want me to read you a Danish poem? Would you like to hear some Danish? Do we have any Danish people here? Do you want a bit of Danish? I know that I'm running late, but I'll do it for you. Would you like that? Yeah. So, okay. So this is actually a poem called Samurai Mama. I was called Mama. In Danish it's actually more, but my ex-husband was French-speaking Swiss. And that's why I'm called Mama. It's a mesmerandum, and it's about children making snow angels and putting little sticks in as swords to fight with. Samurai Mama. Altså tåge er okay en gang imellem. Slimet ikke vand, der æder sig ind i mit tøj og slikker mine nakkehår i kanten af min bøllehat. Uldbøllehat. Varm as fuck er ikke i orden. Bang out of order. Jeg havde sne på mine støvler i går. Hjemmeknas under fodlyd. Minder om børnene, der kastede sig engleformene i græsset må ikke betrædes parker. Med min fulde velsignelse. Min store morkrop og deres 2 små. En hær af engle var vi. Du er ærke, Michael, sagde de. Kriger englen, mamma. Det er fint med mig. Jeg har altid værdsat et godt sværd, sunget til lyden af skåret luft. Samurai, mamma. Sønnen lagde pinde i englehænder. Så var vi klar. Flyverdragt fede valgte vi hjem til pandekager med is, fordi pandekager med is er englespise. Og fordi det var billigere end kød. Men det var en anden snak. Menneskesnak. Ikke englehærsnak. Vores sværd i bryggersædet ligger klar til kamp, indtil hunden tykkede det ene til kvistmos, og den virkelige krig begyndte. Hvem skulle have tandstiksværdet? Liv og død spørgsmål, ser du. Sne versus tåge, englesværd versus hundepind. Yeah. So they're fighting in the end because the dog ate half the stick that was a sword, and they brought back sticks and their swords, but the dog chewed up one of them, and it ended in a total bloodbath because who wants a half sword? You know, it's not good. So, anyways, I will jump to one of the things that happens when you live here is that you have to find a way of healing without the sea. And one of the things I've been doing is hugging trees. So these last 2 ones here before the very, very last one, and I will hurry up, I promise, is called Dancing with Trees. For all the tree huggers. Yeah, this is for June. My little witch. Dancing with trees. There's this thing about trees, a wildness. I've met people who spill tree truth, talk about how calm they are, but that's not what I experience. My favorite tree plays dance music from the 90s. He makes me tap my feet and wiggle my round ass as if nobody's watching. We do not meditate together for calm. We rave until I drop. He's a sexy beast. He has a few scars and broken limbs, party tattoos from a life well lived. It's in the imperfections that turn me on. In winter, when he's lost most of his dress, we joke about his enormous nakedness, the length of his dancing limbs, and oh my, can he dance. His neighbour is a cheeky chestnut, showing off at every chance. She's a reggae tree, mellow and colourful, just that hint of fuck the conventions, putting her a quarter of a beat behind or ahead on purpose, just because she can. He flirts with me, but he loves her, it's okay. Her emeralds and pink diamantine glow is irresistible. The two of them together on a windy day create music that has people coming from all over. Some can hear it, some can see it. Some don't know why they've come at all. They just stand there in awe. But me, I dance. I wish I could show you a picture of those trees. It's like a copse of 6 trees. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. I'm not the only one who can hear trees, right? Luke says you can also feel a tree. That's good. So here's another tree. Oh, I'm not the only one. That's good. Here's another tree poem. It's called Jazz Tree Beats. These roots were meant for walking. I'm sorry about the reflection on it. These roots were meant for walking. I followed them for hours. I walked my hands on every curve and caressed the creases and breathed the pulse so slow. I had to lie, contorted, every limb touching my cheek against bark, just to feel the fairest, faintest beat. Human I am. I'm too impatient. This tree is a slow burner, a slow jazz hum, and I am in love. Ruth will know this because every time I go to this tree, I send her a picture of it. It's a lovely jazz tree. I love jazz and house music and raving and tattoos. Love the whole thing. Not tattoos on me, just on others. That's a needle thing. Not a judgy thing. Not judging. So, I am now 5 minutes over. I have a poem that I would like to finish with, that I always finish with. Is it okay if I take in another 2 minutes? Go for it. Okay. Thank you, Jenna. One of the things that I've learned coming to England is that, especially middle class England, I have to say, being distinctly working class myself, things just got said, done. But over here, expressing emotions is not always easy, and not always appreciated as well, because it makes people feel awkward. But when Mr. Wright got really, really ill, he had to learn to express feelings in all kinds of ways, but also to use his words. And one of the exercises that we did, I say as if I've been training him like a dog, which I have, and he's still learning. But every time it's his birthday, I find whatever many years he is, I find that many things that I love about him. But I think it's a good thing for all of us, if we have people that we care for, to write them a little thing. And this is the one that I've written for him. Things that I love about you. Your wrist and underarm when you roll up your sleeve in summer. The way your legs have lines, and the fact that I know that what shorts you have been wearing by the depth of your tan. The shape of your skull, back head, that perfect shape best babies have, the sort that cups exquisitely in one's hand, a whole person in one palm. We could have had babies of our own. I forget why we didn't. I wake up with tight breasts and empty arms sometimes, looking at your back as you sleep. You always sleep on your right. I always crawl closer to breathe your neck and rub against your wings. I love the way you sleep. I love the hand movements when you eat something you love. It makes me regret I don't do more cooking. Always a beat in your movements. I constantly try to guess what song your hands are dancing to. I love you in your winter coat. It's so long on me, it drags like the trail of a very odd wedding dress. Harris tweed drag. It could work. I love your voice and the way you use it to explore. I love the funny hair in your ear that keeps coming back. I love every single bit about you, even when you drive me mad. That you can make me so angry I want to scream. Your passion and your utterly, unapologetically, this is me attitude. Even when it makes me so frustrated I can't work out how to carve space and time for myself. Because that's my problem, it's not yours. I have to do my own space carving. Stand by my, this is me. I love